Principles of serverless. There are 3 principles that are important to understand in serverless applications: pay-as-you-go, event-driven, and stateless. Let's look at each one of these principles and why they are foundational to the technology. Pay-as-you-go. With serverless, you only pay for what you use. You can think of this kind of like a water faucet. You only pay for the water that you use. When the faucet is not on, you're not paying. You only pay when the faucet is turned on and there's water coming out of it. You only pay for serverless when you're actually using it. If you're not using it, you're not paying. With Azure Functions, you pay for 2 main things: an execution cost, which is a cost when your function is executed, and the amount of resources like RAM, CPU, etc. that is used while your function is running. The most important aspect of pay-as-you-go is that you never pay anything if your function is not going. If it's not running, you don't pay. There is no monthly charge. If you have a serverless project that never gets used, then you pay $0 for that. If it doesn't get used, you pay nothing. Serverless is event-driven. Actually, all computing is event-driven, but it's important to call it out in this context because serverless is really designed to let you easily respond to events that might otherwise be tedious to wire up. Each serverless function usually stands alone and does one thing. This is also known as microservices. These services are decoupled from one another and usually talk to each other with events. So for example, you may have one function that inserts a record into a table in a database, and a second function that listens for an event that is fired when that record is inserted and sends an email with some information from that record. These functions don't talk directly to each other, but they do work together. This is event-driven architecture. Serverless functions can respond to a large variety of event types that are built into the service. There are things like an HTTP request, a certain time of day, like a scheduled task, but more importantly, events that occur in other parts of your cloud environment, like, for instance, when a file gets uploaded to Azure storage. Serverless functions are stateless, and this means that if they're not running, they are what we call cold. And that means that the application is unloaded from memory if it hasn't been called after some amount of time. When the function is triggered, that code is pulled from storage and put back into memory and run. And because of this, all serverless functions are stateless, meaning they don't hold values in memory and they can be unloaded from memory at any given time. They are not long running for this same reason. There is a maximum execution time of between 5 and 10 minutes. After this window, the function will be automatically exited. So one exception to this is Azure's durable functions, which provides a mechanism for which you can create long-running serverless processes. To recap, the core principles of serverless are this: pay-as-you-go. You only pay for what you use. Event-driven. Standalone services that respond to system events. And lastly, stateless. Functions have a short life, and every time they are called, they are fresh. And Azure Functions can help with longer running processes that do need state with something called Azure Durable Functions.